screen share with you guys. And so I'm navigating, and is it there?
So who are you, Catherine?
Yes, all right. So thank you, Mike, for cueing me there. You know, when I got kicked off, I got a little verklempt. So I'm Catherine Battenhorst, and I am an assistant governor third year. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of St. Augustine, and I'm going to be co-chairing membership for our district with Mike Dara for this coming year.
And I am Mike Dara. I am going to be, as Catherine said, the co-chair of membership next year. I'm also going to have a rather obscure title that some of you may know what it is, but it's an assistant Rotary coordinator, which is a zone position, which next year is involved in training membership folks and also in helping out, actually speaking to clubs and being an authoritative source for folks. And I will also be a past district governor next year. So I wanted to, I wanted to let you know how we're going to run today's session. We're going to use the chat today to help us run it really efficiently. If you have a question, just write it in the chat right as the time comes up, and we'll address them later. So test out the chat right now, if you would. Where you'll find it, if you move your cursor to the edges of your screen, it's probably going to be, when you get right down to the bottom, probably there, maybe at the top or the side. If you're on an iPad or on some sort of phone, touch the screen, you'll probably see it there. So next, as a test of the chat, if you would, everybody, please use it. Look where you can type something and answer the following question. Which is the best sports team? We'll have 10 seconds here, so just write that out real quickly. We know that Rotary is based on facts, so I'm sure we will all agree on which is the best sports team. And I will look here and see, for some reason, it seems like we don't agree. Gators, FSU, Bucks, Yankees, Grinnell, Pioneer, Florida Gators. Well, I see a couple of Gators. All of them. The team that wins, Boston Red Sox, no doubt. Nationals, Baltimore Ravens, New England Patriots. Wow, it keeps coming in. It does not seem like, Catherine, do you see any agreement on this?
Not any that I could, no. Lots of opinions, lots of opinions.
So that is, and jumbo shrimp. All right, good. So that's how it works. So as we're going along, if you've got questions or comments, and in particular, Catherine will be talking about the things that work and don't work. Here is the real value we're going to get out of this session. As Catherine brings up a subject, if you could say how it's worked in your club or how it hasn't worked in your club, if there's a hot button issue for you, please let us know. Many people have asked, where can we find best practices on Zoom and on finding ways to involve people? And we are yet to write all those things because we're learning. So sharing your ideas will really help us a lot. So Catherine, I'll be watching on this, and as you finish a screen, I'll give you some of the questions they've asked, but I also hope that folks are going to be sharing what's worked well with their club and what hasn't worked well in their club.
Yes, and thank you, Mike. I actually just got a chat question about why is it only going to one person instead of the whole group? And if you go to the chat part, and I have to open it to look at it. There's a part where it says to. If you click that to make it to everyone as opposed to one specific person, your questions and comments will go to the whole group instead of just one person. So I hope that helps. Also, somebody asked if this was membership. Yes, my apologies. I put that title in there, but it is about membership during COVID-19 time. So it is about membership. So as we get started, this first slide, Mike and I were practicing, and this kind of came about organically. There's a molecular representation of a COVID-19 molecule there. Mike quickly drew some, those are supposed to be boxing gloves on that molecular representation. And then here on the other side, we have the Rotary International symbol, and we don't even need the boxing gloves. We're going to beat it. And that's what this is about thriving, surviving and thriving during the COVID-19 time. So I am trying to change my slide. There we go. So smart moves in the Rotary Ring. And there are 3 things that Rotary leadership in the state of Florida has decided to implement that will determine if your club receives the District Governor COVID Award. And club presidents have received information about how to apply for that award, but basically the 3 things that your club will need to do is meet routinely, check on Rotary family, and as our Rotary motto indicates, service above self, need to continue to serve others. So we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about those 3 things that one has to do to get the DG COVID award this year. So meeting routinely, prize fighting best practices. Some of these things are things that you want to do all the time, but are especially important during this time when we're meeting in unusual and unexpected ways. First, an agenda. Have a plan for your meeting. Make sure that you know what order you're going to go in, whether you're the club president or the secretary or the treasurer. Make sure you continue to have the plan in place. Also use the power of a good speaker or presenter. We talked a little bit about that in the first membership presentation about just how strong that can be. And before I keep going, Mike, if there's anything that is occurring in the chat that you need to shout out, just let me know, okay?
Yes.
Marvelous, good deal. So using the power of a good speaker or presenter, especially now when folks aren't able to gather together, really having somebody who's talking about something that's of interest, whether it's something for right this minute, small business loans, or things that are very applicable right now, or just a good speaker in general. Those are very important at this time, especially. Continue routines that your club enjoys, things like the member minute, saying a blessing, singing. Some clubs love to sing. Mike pointed out things that you do in concert, like singing or saying the pledge. Because of technical changes, you can often get offbeat and a little bit of a delay with those sorts of things. So just know that. But those could take us to the next bullet point where you say throw in something fun and unexpected. During these sorts of things, there are going to be happenings that are unexpected, but also add things that are fun for your club. Things like what we're doing during this district training assembly, whether it's a gift card drawing, having a specific presenter. Our club is turning 100 this month, and we had our club member, as well as the mayor of our city, Tracy Upchurch, do a proclamation for our club's 100th birthday. So something different and unexpected to make the meetings more interesting. So the next one, technology. And that's something that we're really having to rely on heavily right now because we're not able to meet in person. So with that, and some of the slides there have some of our district's clubs meeting via Zoom. There's one of the Rotary Club of Palm Coast, the Rotary Club of Flagler Beach, and then also District Governor Mike Dara's club, South Jacksonville, some of their Zoom meetings there. With your technology, make sure to invite members to join. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to join your meetings. So the fewer clicks that they have to do, the fewer places that they have to go, the more likely they are to join in on your gathering. Also, give clear, specific instructions. If you really try to make it one place where they go and they can click and get onto your meeting. And sometimes that's easier said than done, but really trying to streamline it, making sure you're not sending, oh, wait, I sent the wrong one. Here's the right one. Make sure you have it before you send it out so that members know exactly where to go. And then offer support if possible. And I think a number of us are doing this right now. Certainly thanks to Carolyn and thanks to Marie and all the other folks who are offering support as we go through this virtual district training assembly. It's really helpful when people want to join or you can't hear or for some reason people aren't hearing you. It's really nice to have that tech support. Also, numbers during this time. Consider, and this is something that's good for any time, especially when we're talking about member retention. Consider assigning someone specifically to track members who are resigning and members who are joining. And this is something I've talked about with District Governor Mike and other folks. It's very easy to think, oh, hey, look, we initiated 6 people this month and we're doing really well. We're up on numbers. And then you realize, oh, we've had 8 people leave the club, whether it's through resignation or other factors. So actually we're down 2. We're not doing as well as I thought. And that's very easy if somebody's not paying attention to those specific numbers. So that's a suggestion, especially right now. Also, remain committed to your membership plan with modifications, of course, based on our situation. What we encourage people to do is to not just say, nope, we're not going to take members right now, because this is an important time that we continue to stay vibrant as clubs. And of course, there might have to be membership criteria modifications, but do whatever's best for the culture of your club, but do consider and keep that on your radar, your membership plan. So Mike D from the Beastie Boys, anything in the chat box?
So I do have one question for you. I didn't realize I'm from the Beastie Boys, but I mean, I'll go with that.
I think that's
So when you mentioned you've been an assistant governor and you've been doing the membership thing too this year, how many clubs, when you talk to them, really know what their status is? How many people know that they have lost members in net? If you had to just guess, what would you say most of them really know where they are?
No, I would definitely not say most of them know where they are. And I'll say even when I was president, keeping a handle on that, you tend to gravitate toward the, oh, look at these people we have coming in, and then when you compare those numbers, the ones going out, that's why I say it's really important to assign somebody to pay attention to it, because it's very easy to get excited about the new membership and kind of forget that retention part.
Yeah, so we bring them in with great ceremony and they leave very quietly. So good point. And another question, and this is just something, if you all would, this is for the chat. How many of you actually track attendance in your club? And the reason I ask is it's hard to tell if somebody's drifting away if you don't have an attendance record. So if you would say, we track attendance in the chat, or we don't track attendance. Many people have felt the new liberalization on the attendance rules makes it easier to just not have to worry about that anymore. So let us know whether your club tracks or doesn't. And we had some great ideas in here. Whoop, they're scooting off the top.
I see it just going crazy.
Yes, y'all are doing great. Let me, oh, the fun thing, if you haven't seen it, in the Amelia Island Club, our club is collecting something folks don't know about you and then sharing with 4 names to choose from SurveyMonkey each week. The winner of the overall surveys. If we have time, we're going to ask Dan about that at the end here.
Okay, yeah.
Find out what they're doing. Okay.
That sounds awesome. Thank you, Mike. And there was a question in there, Mike. I don't know if you got that. The survey, or excuse me, not the survey, but the application for the District Governor COVID Award should have gone to all of the current presidents. So, Mike, maybe you addressed that question, and there's somebody asked that one specifically.
Yes, it was sent out to all the presidents, and on April 26th, we'll send it out. It comes as a survey monkey. It just makes it easy, and it's very brief. They just have to show that they're doing these three things. They have a way to track people and make certain that they are contacted and they are heard from, not just somebody sent something to them, that you're meeting and that you're actually out there doing some sort of service project to help the emergency. Okay.
And that's a good segue into, so the first thing that to get the District Governor COVID Award is to meet routinely. Second thing is, I don't know, there we go, to check on Rotary family, go the distance. These are some other boxing terms I'm putting in here. All right, monitor who shows up for virtual gatherings, whether they're calling in or showing up actually on camera. Pay attention to who is joining you, who in your club is continuing to be engaged. And then those that you notice who usually attend meetings and who aren't doing so now, please reach out to those folks. Really, there's in the first membership presentation, there was some mention of really treating Rotary as a family and really caring about our Rotary family members. So whether the reaching out needs to be done via a phone call or an email, or even driving by and waving at somebody, just letting that person know, hey, you're still part of the family. We still care about you. Even if you're not able to engage the way that we're meeting currently, we still want you to be in the club goings-ons and what's happening with the club. So please reach out and don't just assume, oh, I think so-and-so did that. Have somebody reaching out to all members of your club and know what's going on with them. In that same vein, note who engages in meetings and ongoing projects. Maybe some people aren't able to engage via Zoom sorts of things, but they are participating in projects kind of behind the scenes. Now, something on the flip side of this, conversely, observe whose participation has increased using this virtual approach. And that's something that as we get back into our regular routine, being able to pinpoint, hey, you know, so-and-so actually was more involved when we were utilizing Zoom and other technologies. And that could be valuable information to help your club thrive post-COVID sorts of things. Something else that was mentioned with President Tom in the first membership session was that the virtual platform may allow you to get some really marvelous speakers that you couldn't otherwise get because of logistics or timing. People that you may be able to entice to speak to your club. Maybe they live in Chicago or Tahiti or whatever, can't actually get here, but can be part of your presentation, your club presentations. Something else very important in terms of checking on Rotary family is to plan in advance for members who may need financial options to continue membership. There have been lots of changes with folks' jobs, whether they still have a job or maybe they've had a reduction in hours or a furlough or something, changes in financial situations. So while we have this break from actually meeting in physical locations, we encourage you to make a plan so that when we come out of this and we're meeting in a more routine and regular manner, that you have something in place to help people who really want to remain involved in your clubs. If they have a financial difficulty in doing that, have something that will be able to help those folks. So a question for the group over in the chat: how are you connecting members to Rotary, and how are you helping them to have fun and feel the value of membership, especially right now? Mike, what do you see in there?
Well, I saw a number of things. There was one thing from Jim Agee that I was going to come back, and actually, as people type things in here real quickly, can we ask Jim to come on real quickly and tell us about the call and care protocol about contacting folks?
Yes, Rotary International has reached out, and our executive director, Sherry Comer-Ooms, attended a seminar, several hours, about how they've set up protocols. They want all Rotary clubs to do a phone tree. I'm an ex-military commander. I was happened to be the commander of Group 911 of our Air Defense Squadron. So 5 minutes after the World Trade Centers, I'm on the phone. I got to contact 500 people to start getting airplanes together. I can't do that. We have a phone tree. So in our club, we use our club directors and our major committee members to go down to their subcommittees and their lieutenants. And in a very short period of time, you can reach a big organization. We got a large club, 240 people. So Rotary International has set up protocols. They have a training seminar. They're encouraging clubs to do that. And of course, Rotary Club of Jacksonville is doing that. We're well through that. But that's how we're connecting. And it's just in accordance with Rotary International's wishes.
So Jim, do you have something that that is printed that'll help people figure that out?
I'm sure that, yes, I'm sure that we can provide that. I know that Sherry, our executive director, was the one who actually attended the Zoom seminar. I'm pretty confident that she has something that we can distribute, and I will certainly forward to Sherry anybody who wants to know what that might be. But it's pretty simple. I mean, all you have to do is grab a list of your club members. You can pull it right off of DAC-DB. The way we did it is we subdivided it by everybody's a member of some committee, and we had a little bit overlap, but not much. We had our 6 standing committee chairmen set up their phone tree and go through it. And then we passed that list back and forth through the board of directors and the officers to make sure there wasn't a single name that hadn't been checked. And the way we did that is we just put who made the phone call next to the member, and you can go down and look through 240 lines, and if there's an open spot, somebody made a phone call. So
Okay.
That's how we did it. And I've got to assume that it's nothing more complicated than that it's just more that Rotary International was encouraging the clubs to do that, just to make sure we keep contact. We can't do an eyeball check at lunch. The next best thing is a phone call. I will emphasize that it's a phone call. I mean, you can do this kind of thing with DAC-DB, with P-mail, and blast the whole group, but that isn't the contact we're talking about. You can't hear the stress in somebody's voice. If we were asking 2 questions, we had specific questions, 2 of them. Are you healthy? Are you making payroll? Because the 2 big stressors right now are people's health and the long-term ramifications of the economic crisis that's facing us. And so we're a big club. We have a lot of assets. So we've got bankers and financial people and lawyers and doctors. And when we get those negative answers, we're not just asking the question. It's not como está. We're actually then steering our members to somebody that can help.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Thank
So we're getting a lot of things, and what we will do, if you want to receive the presentation and if you want to receive the chat that's here, put your email address in the chat. We'll pluck those off and send you both of those. Kathy Minery mentioned that the RI Care and Concern training will be on the DAC help page. Kathy, if you could let us know, is that a document or is that a Zoom? If you can open up your mute or unmute there, that'd be great. Let us know.
And also, while Kathy's doing that, DG elect Rich was mentioning to Jake Parham with Rotary Sunrise here in St. Augustine, if you're having trouble getting speakers, sometimes doing videos, some good news he mentioned by John Krasinski. There's some neat things on YouTube that might be engaging as well in a pinch.
And we're also using and putting it out on the district website, the programs that come from the downtown club. They're doing, trying to remember what they call it, but they basically do a 30-minute program now, and 20 minutes of it is this most recent week. The chair and CEO of McCormick Spice talking about, he's on the COVID task force with President Trump and the things he's facing. They've got 115. By the way, I listened to this after it all occurred because it's on our website, but they've got factories, one of which is in Wuhan, China. very interesting things. So we've got a number of programs like that on our website that are very topical, and we're putting more out there each week.
This is Kathy Minery. I finally came off mute, but there was a DAC-DB training this past week on how to set up phone trees
Right.
using DAC-DB features. So that's what I was referencing, and I haven't gone back yet to check whether it was recorded and whether it's been posted. But if you were on DAC-DB and you went to help, district training, and then COVID or coronavirus training, that should be one of the video topics in there. So it's
Okay.
probably posted by now, but it was interesting because it gave a way of using the committee structure for setting up phone trees as a parent committee and subcommittees and things like that, which I wouldn't have thought of.
Sounds good. Okay, so back to you. I'll scan as you go on to the next page.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. All right. So for some reason, it's not letting me advance the slide, but there we go. All right. As soon as I say that, it lets me advance the slide. So the last of the three things, meet regularly, take care of your Rotary family. The last one is to remember service, help knock out the effects of COVID. In the Survey Monkeys that District Governor Mike sent out, he noticed there were basically 4 groups that folks were really focusing on in helping or appreciating during this time. And those were seniors, whether that was people who have really had to be cognizant of the social distancing because of health issues, or already compromised immune systems, as well as those who are in skilled nursing facilities and things like that, who aren't allowed to have visitors. And that's, it's a very difficult place for some of those folks to be when family can't come. So it's great to see some of those projects reaching out to try to help those folks in that situation. Also, a lot of appreciation programs for medical and healthcare workers and first responders. Those are some projects that Mike said he noted a number of clubs were doing. Projects that help the hungry, the homeless, and the hurting. And that hurting piece of all those H words specifically are people who are working in industries, and there are all sorts, not just restaurants, who are hurting because of economic changes, whether it's loss of hours or loss of the job altogether. So trying to reach out and help those people bridge from now to the time when they're able to get back into some sort of regular financial routine. And then also reaching out to students who qualify for free or reduced lunch who aren't currently being served by their school district. Some school districts are providing that, but some counties and districts are not. So Rotary clubs have stepped up to help in that regard. So Mike, and also the chat, what are some of the things that you guys are seeing and doing as club members to help with that?
Well, if people would just toss down, if they've got an area of COVID or emergency service they're doing, toss it into the chat if you would, please. That'll help us look at that. And while we're doing that, if Dan Westra from the Million Club could talk about, it's way up at the top of this chat, but if you could talk about what interesting thing you did there about, what did I write? Amelia, folks, something they don't know about you. This sounds like something that could end up haunting you in your future Rotary career. But Dan, could you let us know what it was you were talking about there for fun stuff?
Sure, Mike. The board had met also via Zoom, and we were kicking around because we don't have an opportunity to do happy bucks and share stories that way. One of the ideas that was thrown out was share something. Here, can you mute yours? I'm sorry. Share something that probably no one knows about you. Send it in to one of the board members who took the lead on it. So he's assembling those little known facts, and then it'll say, you know, this this person delivered newspapers as a 12-year-old, and your choices are Noni Larson, Mike Dara, Jim Agee, or Dan Westra. And based on what you think you know about your fellow club member, you would respond via the Survey Monkey with who you think it is. And he sends out 4 of those each week. And so people vote on who they think it is. And then at each meeting, he's sharing, well, here was what the vote said, and here's who it actually was. Sometimes the vote is right. Sometimes it's way, way off. One time we had to make sure that the person who it actually was actually voted for themselves. But it was just a fun way to learn a little bit more about each other. And then, of course, the long-term impact is he'll continue to gather the scores. And when we finish Zoom meetings, we'll have the winner who presumably knows the most, and they'll get a chance to donate another $1,000 for poor Paul Harris. No, but the idea was to have some engagement and have some fun with it along the way, since we don't have the conversation stuff that happens in a meeting.
So out of curiosity, how did you get those fun facts? Was that an opportunity to reach out to every member?
Absolutely.
And get something from every member?
Yeah, we did the email blast everybody to gather it, but we also have the membership list divided up between the board of directors, with everybody being on at least 2 lists. So there's no reason for everyone to not hear from at least somebody twice a week. So there's a way to reinforce it and get good turnout, and also to maintain contact with folks, particularly the ones who haven't necessarily been on the meetings. Pretty quick to find out who hasn't been updating their email address on DACDB, for instance, when they say, well, I haven't gotten an invitation to a meeting. Well, maybe we need to get you updated on DACDB.
Okay. All right, thank you. So on service, I saw, as far as things that folks are doing, there's a banner in front of UF Health North. That was the Rotary Club of North Jacks was out there thanking the medical workers for that. DeLand's collecting food to distribute 500 bags of food to a senior living facility. That's pretty cool. Magazines and cards from downtown Ormond Beach to a local assisted living community. And they made certain, I know on that one, that everybody got something. And I found out about that the day after I tried to deliver something to a close friend who has been locked in their room for 30 days, which broke my heart. So anyway, Port in the Storm, Souls for Souls, Ronald McDonald House, lots of help needed there. Ponte Vedra Library. We'll have more things in the next session where people are identifying things that they are doing. And your president will receive, once we finish the gathering the information about the COVID award, one of the questions, well, you'll find out about this I'm not going to say much more about that. That'll be in the 3rd session. That'll be tomorrow at 9:30. But we'll have more information available.
Well, and that's a good segue, Mike. A lot of this, Mike will be going a little bit more in depth on some of it tomorrow at his session, membership during COVID, tomorrow at 9:30. Is that right, Mike?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay, good deal. So just to reiterate, these are the 3 things that one's club has to have to get that district governor COVID award. And I really, Dan, thank you for sharing that about just getting to know your members with some of those interesting facts that you might really not, that might not normally come up during regular times, but now is a time where we're kind of thinking, what could we do? And you say, oh, hey, you were the paper boy when I used to drive around that corner, or, oh my gosh, I didn't know you drove a TR7. I had one of those in high school, or some random facts about people that you never knew prior to having the opportunity to share a little bit about folks. And that's part of what connects the Rotary world. And it may be some just random fact. It may be something that allows somebody to know, hey, I didn't realize that you were that sort of healthcare provider, or that you did that sort of business loans and can help other people that way. So it's an opportune time to to get to know each other better.
So we're glad that we were able to save the time here because there's one big question that I would like to get some feedback, and I'm trying to see, we've got 38 participants. Here is an issue that came up a couple of days ago. We've had a number of new members who are joining now, but most of those new members have been in the Rotary process. They've gone to their first meeting back in the old days. And the challenge right now is when we start seeing how do we bring in members in the new days, in this environment that we're in right now. As I was sitting in my meeting, I realized if I were a new member, how alienating it would be. Somebody could invite me to come, but if I come on and everybody's talking, they're not talking to me, and there's not somebody sitting next to me. Somebody that can introduce me around, that help me feel like I'm special, like I'm somewhat of interest. And it made me realize I don't have an answer. And Catherine and I talked about it briefly, and we realized, we're your membership chairs. This is brand new. We don't have any training on this. So you are the training team right now. And if you would, if you just put your thoughts about how you can bring somebody, because obviously they're not in your house, but how do you invite someone to a Rotary meeting or to Rotary and make it so that a visitor could join between now and the end of the year? Someone who has not been in Rotary. If you could throw your ideas up there, I tell you, Catherine and I would greatly appreciate it, because if this lags on into July 1st and onwards, this is our baby that we got to deal with. And I think all of us have to deal with this, because we will lose some people. There's a reality that about 10% of folks do move on, move to a different community or whatever. Even the best of clubs lose 5% of their members. So we have to find some way. And now somebody wrote there on invite them to a Zoom meeting. That's great, but how do we make them feel special? If they come on like you, like all of us, I know so many of the people on here. How do you make them feel special when they come to a Zoom meeting? It's so easy to just literally be in the corner and be unnoticed. So let's just look down at what people have said so far.
We've got one that says invite former Rotary Youth Exchange students to join, and they've been getting great speakers, it said. That was
okay.
CW tips.
Encourage guests to join Zoom meetings. Our first minutes of our meeting, we say hello to each other, give them a few minutes to introduce themselves. Cool. And to give them a little structure about how to do that. Let them speak about themselves. Why didn't we think about that, Catherine? That's like A number one. Dale Carnegie would tell you, yes.
The obvious escapes us.
Yes, I know. Gainesville announces any visitor watching our Zoom meeting. I think Zoom has an option for breakout groups. I think that's in the higher level of Zoom. I think that's the $65 Zoom. If anybody's got that, let us know. Someone sent me information about that, and I watched that this morning. But I don't think that's in the regular $15 a month version. But if somebody knows that, let us know. Whether in person or in Zoom, the guests need to be recognized and introduced by their host. That's a cool idea. Our virtual meeting runs the same format as face-to-face. This is the Port Orange Club. Any other ideas there? I see Kathy McGinnis is cranking one out here. It looks like Tracy Loftus is maybe doing the same. Why do I feel a little bit like Mr. Rogers? I see Tommy. I see.
In the neighborhood.
Yeah. After the first meeting, we have 2 or 3 people call, and after the second meeting, have 2 or 3 different people call. Okay, great idea. Especially if you've had that intro where the person tells you about themselves, then you've got something to call about. Our host from Port Orange Club greets members as they join. Also make sure everyone has a name and just not a phone number. That is helpful. I'm just going to look here on the other side here. Everybody has a name on here, it looks like. We do have Gap. I guess that's because Gap must be sartorially, we can't quite see your Gap outfit there, but I'm assuming it's a teenage, you know, kind of really hip and with it. So, but to that point, we said this before, on the upper right-hand side of your picture, you can rename yourself so that your full name is on there. That's a good point. Go to your guest location while keeping social distance. You can Zoom from the same spot, then have one-on-one follow-up regarding Rotary afterward. That, depending on the age of the person, you may not find them real excited about meeting, but it's certainly, when you show up in person, that certainly has a heck of a lot of bang to it. I'm trying to see any others. What did I miss, Catherine?
I think, did we get after the first meeting, have 2 or 3 people call? And after the second meeting, have 2 or 3 different people call? Did we get that one?
Might have, but it's a good one to repeat.
Okay.
And Ponte Vedra has established greeters for each meeting, where we ask our members to intro guests and ask them to say a few things about themselves. Then we follow up offline to promote and recruit. And then I think we have a recruitment plan, and then selecting someone in the community that meets a need on that plan would make recruitment more focused, so that when you approach someone, they feel flattered that you've selected them to recruit. So that's a repeat of what we heard with 2 of the large clubs in our last call, that they actually have, one club called it a prospect list, and I've heard another club call it a green room, folks that they think would be great, and they wait until someone knows that person well to approach them, but to then bring them in and then tell folks why they're just a great person. Many clubs have found that it's not great to say, and they're going to be a great member, because that really puts pressure on the person. You feel like you're attending a Tupperware meeting, and you know you're going to end up buying something before you get out of here. As soon as they start that language, you know it. You just reach for your checkbook and realize, I fell for it again. I'm not going to do this again. How often do I need to experience this? Have the membership chair call them after the meeting and find out what they thought. Build the relationship. Sales 101. Thanks, CW. And if we sent the Zoom invite to an assisted living facility, they could pass it along to their residents to connect people outside of the facility. Yes, some of these places they need, making connection in there would be pretty cool. My Rotary friends, by the way, people have talked about creating satellites at some of these retirement places. My Rotary friends are having visual happy hours, less structure, and you get a chance to experience that at 5 p.m. What else, Catherine?
Well, we're having a virtual happy hour here in 16 minutes, right?
Yes. So have someone with similar background call and tell them why they're a Rotarian. That's a great idea. So choose the person that calls them. So any other ideas on that? Has anybody, if you want to open your microphone, if we missed you, speak up, let us know what your ideas are.
Cheryl Henchar, do you have your hand up? Oh, I can't hear you, Cheryl.
You have to unmute there, or
She's not muted, but.
Let me jump in, Jim Agee. I just want to pitch out. Are you there?
yes.
Okay. I just want to pitch the DACDB Customer Resource Management icon module. It's relatively new. The DACDB people have put a lot of work into it. Very few clubs are using it because it is a pretty new product. But that's where you're going to have your potential member list. And there is so much information you put in there. You put in contact, you can put in business, you can put in sponsors, endorsers, and then they have a pipeline, 6 stages, and you can build your pipeline to fit your club. Our pipeline takes you from your initial contact to an inquiry, to interest, to going to make a decision in 6 months, going to make a decision in 2 weeks, and now they are a proposed member. Then they go through our vetting process, and then you have an active member. So when you've got 160 people in your potential list like we do, and you've got a large committee that's trying to work these people, it becomes unmanageable if you don't have some kind of support like this, and DACDB already has it. So don't reinvent the wheel. Don't try to build your own Excel spreadsheets. This product is right there in your DACDB database, and it works really well.
And it's in a shared space, so everybody can get at it. And to that point, Jim, the fact that we're all sitting at home now, we're sitting in front of a computer. So if someone is charged, your secretary or whoever it is, membership chair, with just entering it in there so you capture that. I know so many clubs don't have a process like that, but a process, even if you're small, will cause you, if you've got 15 members and you say, what happened to that Kathy how'd you say her name again? But they'll follow up with a Kathy Minery, and someone will realize, no one did call her. We need to make certain that we do it. Nobody called Kathy. I'm sorry, Kathy. So we're at 4:47. Is there anything else there? Circle back to Cheryl, see if she has. Cheryl, anything there? Cheryl, is your mic working? Okay, Cheryl H.
It looks like Henchar something, and she's talking, but we just can't hear her.
Oh, I see you there. Cheryl, can you unplug your headset and see if it works? No, it's not working. I don't know why. Can anybody read lips? There.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so what the Port Orange Club did was, under service, was we decided, like, our membership dues are lower because we're not paying the food every week to our caterer. So we have the same service every week. So what we elected to do was to pay 50% of our dues that we pay for meals and give it to our servers. And then the other 50% we're giving to the restaurant, to those servers.
That's cool.
So that's what we're doing as our club, because servers, these people depend on that money every week, and we obviously can't meet face to face. I mean, we haven't met since March. We don't know how long it's going to go on. So that's what our club is doing right now. I'm sure we'll do other things, but that's that was a start of what we're doing, try to help out. And we did stress to members, if anybody needs help, to reach out to us as a club. We're there to help people. Like you said, there's a lot of financial crisis, a lot of emotions going through for everybody. So this is great, team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, as Catherine said, the next session will be tomorrow morning at 9:30. And that will be talking about this COVID award. And the idea is it came from across the state of Florida on addressing a number of issues that are strictly related, not strictly, but they're related to both the current situation we're in with COVID, and so you got a crisis. Well, you never want to waste a crisis. There's an opportunity there. And it's how do we find those opportunities to be even stronger as we come out of it. So we're back to Rich. Rich, do we have to do a name poll or something like that? Where is Rich?
Yes, we do. Let me just pull up my random number generator magic. And we still have 36 in the 35. You have to be present to win. So we're going to generate a number. Help me, parking meters. Anybody else see another parking meter?
No, don't now.
And the magic number is 30. So we will assign we'll download the participants in this session, and we will draw this randomly and pull that number. Whoever gets number 30 in that, when we draw down the participants, will get a $25 gift certificate to the restaurant of your choice.
So Rich,
Local
go
restaurant.
ahead. So Rich, can you make certain that we're able to save the chat here?
Yes.
Okay, and then those of you who have given us your emails, then great. And if you didn't give your email, then shoot me an email. Go on the website. You'll see my name on there, a couple of places, and let me know what you want, and I'll get it to you. So, Rich, do you want to tell us anything about what we need to do for the 5 o'clock?
So we have to be happy. You got to come first with attitude, right? Attitudes of gratitude and happiness. I will be closing this account or this call, and then you'll go to the link on our flyer. It's the clickable link, and that will be one happy group. That account can hold up to 500 people. If we have 500 people, I am going to be very happy, and start charging people $5 for happy hour. But I think that's it. I want to thank all our presenters the past 3 hours, and for our Rotarians that care enough to drop in on us and learn and connect. I think it's been pretty good so far. I'd love to have feedback, even via email or a note to myself, Marie, or Carolyn Mudgett, who I couldn't have done this without. So you get a chance, thank them first of all. But if we do have constructive criticisms, suggestions, we've never been here before. So we welcome that opportunity to learn and grow and do this a little better next time. I pray that you guys continue to be safe, that we stay engaged in Rotary. It's still a worthwhile cause. And if you're like me, you just can't put it aside. It's on our hearts, right? So we look forward to seeing you guys. And I'm going to make Sandra stop sharing, because we don't need that. Thank you, Sandra. Please join us in the next few minutes. Drop in for a few minutes, and we're gonna. I think they've got some fun things planned in the happy hour session as well. So look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you all very much. God bless, and we'll end this meeting with our motto: service above self.
One profits most who serves the best.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rich. And Sandra or Cheryl, did you want to try to test your microphone? I can't hear you. No.
It's
We
not
did it
working.
when you unplugged it, but. No.
No.
Nice.
Whoop.
It looks like her mute button is on again.
No, it's not. It's not muted.
Yeah. It's not.
Now can you hear me?
Now, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was on here it was on mute before on my
Ah.
headset. And when I clipped it onto my shirt, I hit that button.
Gosh,
So this
Okay.
button, I have to make sure it's solid red. When it's blinking, it's on mute.
those
Okay,
little
well,
things
we
drive
can't-
me.
And, you know, I haven't used this headset in probably like 4 years. I used to do webinars with Constant Contact and just until we start doing Zoom.